Read, nigga, read!
I'm sure some people want my head for this, but to be completely honest, ever since Young Justice Season 3 had returned, I've always thought something was a little bit off. That feeling of something being off continued right until the last few episodes were released on my totally legal site. And when they did, I only had two emotions: confusion and then anger. Blood curdling anger. I'm going to say something extremely controversial. Young Justice Season 3 was not good. The animation had no life in it, and a lot of the characters end up looking like they were all from the same mold. Oh, but there's some other small stuff. So let's talk about Miss Marsh. Sorry, it's just that. Why are we okay with this? She just impersonated her friend's boyfriend in order for her to have some type of closure. This is not okay, and for those who are going to tell me that it was for the greater good, I wonder how Artemis would react to hearing that Miss Martian impersonated her dead boyfriend for the greater good. I imagine it wouldn't go well. When the season wasn't shitting on its formerly good characters, we were dealing with characters I couldn't care less about. To say that I literally did not care about any of the new characters in The Outsiders would be an understatement. I hardly remember their goddamn names sometimes. And you know, that's what really sucks. I love this show. Actually, I still do. I love the first two seasons. You know, back when the show was actually given a budget, the time skips weren't obnoxious, we actually saw characters that were interesting and had proper insecurities that the audience could relate to and sympathize with. These last two seasons went and said, fuck that shit. Before I get any more distracted, I'll just... We start with a 1-year time skip. I felt like the 5-year time skip was allowed for a few characters, and it also allowed for a lot of new characters to be introduced as well, and it also allowed everyone to go like... at the reveal of Evil Aqualad. Now, when they did this in season 3, I absolutely despised it. Mainly because the new cast weren't even remotely developed, and then boom, you got a bunch of new characters before we saw any of them fully developed like the team from season 1 did. It seems like the writers were just trying to throw away any of the characters we actually were interested in. And now 93 new ones are in our face. We're not even 5 minutes in and I'm already fucking annoyed. This is not a great start. To cut a long story short, Connor and Miss Martian are going to Mars in order to get married, as the religious ceremony means a lot to Megan's parents. Beast Boy, John, and whoa, silly me, I forgot about the terrible exposition we received about Magma Guy. I'm told his name is Brion. Now, because of the unnecessary time skip, the audience needs to be told that Brion hasn't been talking to them, so...
He still won't speak to me. Why? Have you tried? Not recently.
Hey writers, do you know what show not tell is? So anyway, Team 3 and minorities take a 3-month... What did I just fucking say? We're on the 3rd page of the script and I haven't even seen the intro.
Gross. It's all good. Bioship likes the minty freshness.
Please tell me you'll show better manners at my parents' home.
Sorry. I know I've been a little cranky this trip.
Oh, that would have been really nice if it was on screen for reasons I will be talking about later. The game meets McGinn's sister and she transforms into her... This season is perfect, please take my money. Do you think Superboy got turned on seeing classic McGann? Oh come on, there's no way I was the only one thinking that. The gang goes exploring, we got our first hints of racism. Oh boy. My favorite. Race discussion. I'll double on this later. The humans? Alien hybrids? Beast Boy and Superboy get yeeted by a mind attack. This is also a B plot with There is also a B plot for ship for some reason. Megan's parents say that they found a priest who will do a mixed species marriage. Oh look, it's an ignorant black, white person? They're ignorant. Someone stuck in their old ways and think that Earth is poisoning the people of Mars. He also shit talks a minority, hates immigrant Earthlings, and is all about his culture. Where have I seen that in the last 4 years?
Don't go out there. Sorry, Mom, but I refuse to put up with this racist ma'am.
Oh my god, it's the bit! Yeah! Hey writers, do you know what fucking subtlety is? I feel it's especially important to be subtle when you're talking about something as sensitive as racism. I get the writers were trying to do a good thing, but the way it was handled was so on the nose it ends up taking me out of the story. I was honestly surprised the Green Martian didn't walk up to Megan and call her a fucking nigger. A show that handled race and other adult themes excellently was Steven Universe.
You can't get married. Why not? Black people can't marry white people.
Each gem was expected to fulfill the purpose they were made for and were punished if they tried to do anything else society wanted them to be. Add that with gems like pearls being treated with the same level of respect as a house made in the 1800s, and you can see the parallels from our world. The only difference is the racism in Steven Universe actually made some kind of sense. Pause. The main reason it does is because the gems aren't directly like humans. With gems, you are literally created to fulfill a certain purpose. There's even a part about this dedicated in a song from Yellow Diamond. An ordinary handles its discrimination a lot better through the literal power struggles of the high tiers, low tiers, mid tiers, and cripples, with the ones in power pushing down those weaker than them. The Legend of Bloody Korra manages to handle this aspect better. You know, the show that managed to make less sense than the random babblings of a baby? The reason I've ranted about this for an entire page is because you cannot convince me that a hyper-evolved race with the ability of telekinesis, psychokinesis, heat vision, depending on the continuity, and most importantly, the ability to morph their bodies into basically fucking anything is going to be tripping over a skin tone. Especially when it's common for Martians to be morphed in some way. The writers could have handled this in 10 different ways, like maybe white Martians were savages or had a different culture and beliefs to green ones, or there was a power difference between the two but they're literally the same. They're literally the fucking same. This isn't even how real racism works. Fuck me. There's still a bit of the episode left. I wonder what's going.
Recognized. Martian.
Damn. That looked like it hurt. The intense subtlety continues as we find out that Joon might be dead due to the Rig Zeta tube. Communications are completely down from Mars as we also find out someone added thermal energy to the tube, which caused the explosion. This is a really organic way for the show to create mystery and who could have possibly done this. The two Martian races hating one another and McGann's brother being a red herring also adds to that mystery too. Right, so here's the bullshit. If this computer is able to tell that the machine was tampered with after it's destroyed, then how the fuck could it not tell when it was working at full power? Like, this isn't even a nitpick here, that's actually faulty fucking portal design. But whatever, plot's got a plot. 2 minutes later, yes, 2 minutes later, the mystery of whether John was alive has been solved. In the same scene, we also find out that Cyborg can boom to him casually now. Do I need to explain why this is a problem? Oranges for the last time, it happened during the time skip, stop moaning. Oh, so like this then. Riveting. Someone also blew up the Martian communication tower in this scene. Also, I might be misunderstanding how boom tubes work, but let me ask. Cyborg needs a signal to boom tube, so can't he just boom tube to steal in the javelin? No, like this isn't even a complaint, I actually just don't know. McGann and her brother also talk for a moment. I'm surprised she didn't just mindfuck him. To be honest, I'm just really bored during this episode. Oh shit. To be honest, even if this is a fake out, Connor's one of my favorite characters in this show, so the scene actually scared the shit out of me in the moment. Now McGann's brother is trying to deport, wipe out all the white Martians. So the episode starts with Beast Boy Flashback. Ew! I haven't talked about the animation of season 4 since I just thought it was alright, but this shit is barely fucking moving. It's not like this can be explained away with it being a flashback because only the animation has changed. No style change to give you the idea that it's a flashback, so I guess they just couldn't be bothered with this scene. Bioship reproduced? What? Why? What does this have to do with the narrative, like, at all? This isn't even good world building, as this doesn't do anything other than let the audience know that ship species practice polygamy. Ship, you fucking thought! Baby also has all the memories of Ship, making this even less important. Joy. While investigating the crime scene, the prince invites Connor to do the male Martian tradition for the marriage to McGann.
Really? I understand. I understand, girl. I do.
What is it, McGann?
It's Bioship. She's retiring. Baby will take us back to Earth so that Bioship can live out her final years here on Mars.
Bro, why is there even sad music? How can anyone take this seriously? This character literally does nothing for me. The Bioship has served no other purpose but being the team's mode of transport. Who cares if it's retiring? Who could ever get attached to a vehicle? I take that back.
Hello, do you have a minute to talk about our Lord and Savior Lightning McQueen?
No! No! No!
Now granted, it means a lot for the characters. The writers have been fine doing this with literally everyone else, so what changed? Is it because Ship is an original character? The Green Beetle is back.
I am ashamed of my actions under the influence of the Reach's Scarab. I apologize for—
No apologies necessary. Once freed from the Scarab, you heroically helped the Earthlings banish the Reach from both Earth and Mars.
Why is he only now apologizing what happened to the Reach? That happened 6 years ago in canon. So outside of the purely executed race discussion, Beast Boy is having hallucinations. I've spent the last 7 pages being extremely negative, so this is a nice breath of fresh air. But I really like where his character is right now. Garth is probably one of the only characters who benefited from the 5-year time skip in season 3, allowing him to be aged up and moving him away from heroing. Allowed for him to be a lot more alienated from the others like Bart Allen, who is just never given screen time for some reason. It also makes sense that he'd move away from superhero stuff after his own team went and died only recently too. And right after he believes he's found a new team he could feel comfortable with and call family, it all goes up in smoke, just like it did before, just like it did again, and just like it almost did last episode. I was originally going to make fun of how hung up he was with Brienne, but it makes sense that Garth would get attached so quickly. I mean, before he even finished puberty, he lost his mother and one of his mentors in Wally, and it was clear that Garth really looked up to Wally, seeing as he copied a lot of his mannerisms in season 2. It makes complete sense that he would try to fill the void as quickly as possible, and it makes even more sense that he'd be so impatient about the outsiders because of Brienne, and also the reason he's adamant on Connor getting back to his full strength since he, in his own words, said he doesn't want to lose another brother. To be honest, I think Garth is one of the best written characters in Young Justice right now, and that's directly because of season 2, 3, and 4. Now it's time to slap off those rose-tinted glasses, because everything I just said about Garth is my actual opinion, but it bothers me so much that the main catalyst of his character arc are either 1, never properly shown on screen, or 2, someone I didn't care about. The Danger Patrol were never shown on screen, and I can only assume how much Garth clung to them, and to be honest, that's so annoying. Having to base a core part of someone's character on oranges on a fucking assumption, all because of some shitty time skip, which I once again say screwed up on 90% of the cast of season 2. Right, anyway, back to the scene. We find out that the totally not time travelers are actually time travelers. Does that mean we're gonna see Bart Allen? No? Alright then. The episode starts with everyone still being upset with Ship leaving. You know, something about the scene is off. I have this weird feelings that those words aren't even relevant to Ship, and instead are meant for someone else. Nah, there's no way they'd actually do that, right?
Are you okay, Gar?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad, but I want her to be happy.
Ah yes, my favorite character, Palette Swap. Megan's brother plants a bomb in an underground surface of the King's Palace, and we also get another sleek peek at— oh my god, is that a fucking minority? Ew, get the spray! Megan meets up with her brother and they argue for a bit. We're also told that Megan cannot arrest her brother because of a lack of jurisdiction or something? What? Isn't she a resident of the planet? Oh, whatever, I'm sure this can possibly lead to a problem later on in the episode.
What family? Our siblings? Please. As for our parents, you can say goodbye to Mom and tell Dad I'm sorry.
What the fuck? Aren't you gonna follow up on that at all? How the actual fuck did McGann just let McComm say that and not remotely question whether or not he's going to do something drastic? You know, like what he's been doing for the past, I don't know, 7 episodes? Ah, no, silly of me, the plot's gonna move across somehow. The show once again shows how nuanced it is at tackling real world things by having Emery say,
No. Or yes. I'm a scientist atheist. I can't be asking a priestess for advice.
I'm sure some are, but portraying the only confirmed atheist character as someone who is stubborn and refuses to listen to a priest's advice, for the simple reason of them being a priest, is totally not going to rub people the wrong way. Definitely not. Oh, and I'll be commenting on the religious aspect too, by the way. This is yet another reason a prejudice between the two races of Martians could have worked out, by having both sides believe in a certain god, which goes against the other's gods or something corny like that. But oh, the writers just want you to connect the dots and just automatically assume the racism works exactly how it does in real life. So they don't give a proper reason why the Martians hate each other, even though it makes zero fucking sense for the setting we're in. Emery admits to being a terrible sister to McGann in this scene too. The Future Gang has also been watching Superboy for a reason I'm sure will be explained later. The gang also does CSI work to get a lead on the King's killer. The gang has arrived at the White Martian slums where we get some insightful commentary by McGann. We finally see proper prejudice against the Martians as okay, hang on. That actually sounds racist, what the fuck? We finally get to see proper prejudice against the White Martians as they seem to live in a worse off condition than the Green Martians. Come on, do you really expect me to believe that? Once again, these fuckers have the exact same culture, power set, and biology, and you expect me to believe that they wouldn't just build something better? This whole race aspect was so half-baked it actually fucking hurts to think about the potential it could have had. We could have had a show actually comment on racism in a way that wasn't forced or done poorly, and yet Young Justice has managed to do both. fucking Keck, we find out that the potential killer was actually a green Martian, and this Scarface was withholding info because he knows better than to get involved with green Martians. The gang and the king find out the yellow Martian that actually had a speaking role was the killer, but before this I have another issue to complain about, just stacked up on the list. So remember the whole mystery of who killed the king, and remember how we were also given a bunch of red herrings to throw us off the real killer? Well, regardless of the Einstein level intellect I applied to the case, I was basically given the finger by the writing team because the only way you would know who the killer was is by having knowledge of something you couldn't have. Those are my favorite mysteries, you know, the ones that you literally cannot solve no matter how much thought you put into it. And I know it's supposed to be a surprise Pikachu moment, but when you literally had no way of figuring it out, you can only groan. We get a confession out of and we see how she killed the king. I won't dabble too much into this, but the only speaking characters who show any form of racism is the Queen's advisor and Macam. Accurate representation of racism, by the way. Now, we get one of the worst, if not the worst scene in all of Young Justice. And I'm not even taking the piss when I say this. So the king, oh for fuck's sake, this scene is so shit. So the king, let me just play the clip.
How preposterous is it that among a race of shapeshifters, the color of one's skin defines one's worth? It is long past time for institutionalized tribalism and scapegoating to be eradicated.
So he is literally spitting, but now I'm going to go over why this scene spits in the face of the idea the show was trying to portray. If this was a fictional form of racism, I wouldn't care less. But the show's entire racism concept relies on your knowledge of racism in the real world. And for almost the entire Martian race to be swayed almost immediately after the king said these words absolutely fucking baffles me. If it's because of his status that people are listening to him, then that makes no sense since the king was also heavy on the whole equality message. Why would they randomly choose to now listen? Secondly, why are people acting like the prince is coming up with some 1 trillion IQ play when in all honesty, anyone with half a fucking brain would have come to that solution? Since his status couldn't have been the reason for people's sudden change of their minds, that means the Martians really hadn't thought of this. A hyper-evolved race of shapeshifters did not think of this for hundreds of years.
Nigga, what the fuck is this bullshit?
Thirdly, apparently there are different cultures for Martians when this is never shown on screen. Oh my fucking god. But from what I have been shown, if the show cannot be bothered, then why the bloody hell should I? Fourth fucking Lee. If this show wants to give a portrayal of real racism, then why the fuck were so many minds changed almost instantly? It's taken centuries just for black people to get some right, yet alone other races that also suffer from racism. And you're going to tell me that one person, a single person, was enough to change an entire race thought on race? Martin Luther King Jr. is molding in his grave right now. Holy shit, this is so dumb. Oh lord, I actually need to fucking sit down for a second. Hang on a minute. There's no way in hell they could make this episode any worse, right?
There comes a time in all forms of media consumption where you are so utterly bewildered by an event taking place that there are so many things wrong with it that you don't have words and you simply laugh.
I have no words. And here I am, writing them on my script and now recording the lines a few days later. Superboy and Wally West are probably some of the best characters in the entire show. Both of them were inferior versions of their adult hero counterpart, and both of them wanted to live up to that legacy the other built. While this motivation was seen in Wally from time to time, this is the main thing in Superboy's mind for the majority of season 1. Even to a point where he would take a drug from Lex Luthor of all people just so he could match the original. There's something so human about wanting to live up to the expectations set by others, and the anger that comes along with it when you can't, and that message of doing the best you can and growing out of someone else's shadow has stuck with me for a while. It's probably a message that will never leave my head. While I thought in my first viewing that Connor's death was just as good as Wally's, I realized something when I watched it again. They fucked it up. Listen, I tried to like this scene, but there are just two huge unavoidable problems I have with this entire scene and this episode. Megan probably makes one of the most retarded decisions anyone has ever made in the entire show. She didn't follow up on what her brother said, even though his words were the biggest red flags. And it's not like he hasn't done something drastic in the past, so I don't get why the fuck Megan would just let this happen. My second problem, foreshadowing. Upon rewatching this episode, I realized why Ship was so important. It wasn't because the writers cared about their own OC, they just wanted to foreshadow Superboy's death. And fucking well done for the writers foreshadowing his death. But does no one see a problem with this? The writers think Superboy and his death are directly comparable to Ship that can easily be replaced. Connor Kent as a character just wasn't respected enough by the writers, I guess. Fuck this episode, I hate it here. Episode 5 was actually pretty good. No, I'm not going cold turkey just yet. I'll give the show some credit. When it's not trying to be political, it's actually capable of not making me want to rip my eyes out with a spoon. God, that was graphic, sorry. Anyway, we see a photo, which I'll be complaining about in a second, but plot-wise we see a small compilation with Artemis before we get one of the various flashbacks throughout the 2 episodes. We also find out that Jade is being hunted by the League of Shadows. While Artemis is walking down the library, she almost gets attacked before my main fucking man Arsenal steps in. A well animated fight scene happens and this mystery attacker is tied up. Arrowette was also in this scene.
Don't care, still don't care.
Vandal Savage's daughter is also here? Okay. Holy shit, is that Damien? We either see him get forced aged up or we're getting another time skip. Are you excited? After another flashback, there's another action scene where we see Artemis slip up and almost get killed. Also, off script for a minute, I cannot be the only guy that wants to see a Roy Will cop drama. There's no fucking way, it's just me. Both Vandal Savage and Onyx are locked in a cell and Jade is called up by Artemis to do an unknown task. Right. So since the episode is over, I'm going to go off script just to bitch about a photo. This photo canonically cannot make any sense depending on when it was taken. Because if you look at the photo, it must have been taken right after season 1, which literally cannot have happened because Red Arrow immediately went on the run. Meaning, this is the fucking continuity error. Meaning the show is trash, L+ ratio, you fell off. After some Jade and Artemis talking, we're told there is a tornado by, I know Wonder Girl is there, but who's the other one? White and Blue, Scotland? Garth tells Wonder Girl in Scotland that he wouldn't be any help as of now. And while he tells the girl it's because of a space lag, it's actually because he witnessed Connor's death. Analysis 100, baby. You'd think they'd know something was up, huh? We go back to Artemis and we're told this.
I telepathically read them. They both seem sincere. Is it possible both are telling the truth to the best of their knowledge?
Anything's possible. That's the problem.
Random fucking... Get the fuck off the screen! You're blocking the episode I care about. She can't read minds as well as Miss Martian. Another flashback happens where Jade pulls a reverse Uno... okay. A reverse Uno going out for cigarettes move before we're introduced to some more randoms. Oh my god, he's back! My favorite Young Justice character! Evil Spider-Man!
Wake me up! Wake me up inside! Can't wake up! Wake me up inside!
Briona's being a good king? Good shit, chief? Oh, and Garth is depressed. A fight scene happens and Orphan gets kidnapped, and Cheshire leaves Artemis. Before I talk about the last scene in the episode, why are we being introduced to more characters in Young Justice when the ones from season 3 and 2 are barely flushed out? You know what? Fuck it. They don't care. They do not care. They don't care. They don't care.
Good morning. Ready for my guard duty shift?
Oh, fuck off. Please leave a like or something so I know people actually want this. I don't hate the season that much. I just think it's the shittest one so far. So yeah, I'd be down to review the rest of these bastards when I can stop being a lazy cunt.